Fantastic. Right. So yeah, welcome. Welcome to this introduction session about the STEMAZING Inspiration Academy for people who are interested to know what it's about, who I am, what we do in STEMAZING, how we kind of work towards our mission of inspiration and inclusion in STEM, and how you can get involved with that. So this whole lunchtime session is about being able to give you an introduction to what it is, how you can get involved, what the commitment is from your side, so you have clear expectations if you want to get involved, and exactly the steps that you'll take in order to register and how we do that down selection process. So hopefully lots of information for you, but I also want this to be interactive. So if you've got any comments or questions, please put them in the chat, or if you want to raise your digital hand and speak up, that's great. So yeah, don't be shy, ask any questions you've got throughout. And on that note, I would love to hear where people are dialing in from today. So if you just put where you're dialing in from in the chat, we can see how far and wide you amazing women are spread. Right, still got a few people joining, so I'm going to let those in as you put where you are in the chat. Oh, amazing. Kent, Spain, Glasgow, London, Southwest London, Bristol, another London, Ireland, Yorkshire, Sussex, Southampton. Fantastic. All over the place. That's brilliant. Right. So I've got a few slides to share. I am going to share my screen with you, and we will make a start. Okay. And it's just me on this side, so I'm going to have to keep letting people in as we go. I should have asked Jesha to join and help me do that, shouldn't I? Never mind, lessons learned. Right, okay, let me go and share those slides. All right, can you give me a thumbs up if you can see the slides are right, full screen? Thank you very much, fantastic. Right, so yeah, as I said, this is an introduction session to what the STEMAZING Inspiration Academy is all about. The award-winning, I should say, STEMAZING Inspiration Academy. Got to blow my own trumpet about that as well. I'm super proud of that. So first of all, I thought for those who don't know me, there may be people on the call who don't know who I am, and I thought it was useful to say you know who's talking at you today. To give you a brief intro to me, so I'm Alex Knight. I'm the founder of STEMAZING, and I'm a chartered engineer. So I did mechanical engineering, that's my background. And I am also now a fellow of the Institution of Mechanical Engineers, a fellow of the Women's Engineering Society. I'm a visiting professor as well through the Royal Academy of Engineering, and I do my lecturing and workshops at Brunel University down in London. I had over 15 years in industry doing various different roles, from a startup medtech company through to working in an infrastructure and data analytics team in a consulting company in London. So I had all sorts of interesting, wonderful, loved my jobs in industry, but I've always very much had a passion around inspiration and inclusion in engineering particularly, and STEM more broadly. So I've done loads of STEM outreach myself over the years. I've mentored loads of women over the years, and I just love doing that stuff. I absolutely love it. It gives me the biggest buzz and sense of fulfillment that I could possibly get. So when I was sort of getting, I suppose, a few years ago now, probably right back to about 2015, I started thinking, do you know what? I want to do more of the stuff that absolutely lights me up in my life around mentoring and STEM outreach and empowering women in STEM. So I had this seed of an idea to set up a not-for-profit. And then, of course, you know, life and the day job happens. And before you know it, a couple of years have passed. So I didn't actually found STEMAZING until 2019, but I didn't actually start focusing on STEMAZING full time until the back end of 2020. So we've really been going guns blazing with this, I'd say, since early 2021. And we've seen amazing results and engagement and fantastic interaction and support and championing from a lovely community of STEMAZING women and partners and schools and young people. So it's been a fantastic experience, but I wouldn't have been able to do that if I hadn't have become the person that was able to do that, if that makes sense. So I basically evolved myself as a human being into being the person that was confident and courageous enough to set up a not-for-profit, to leave her day job, to leave her stable income, to do something that I had no idea where this was going. And that took a lot of courage. And I have grown that courage muscle over many years proactively. And that's one of the messages that we emphasize in STEMAZING, is that we can all become more courageous, confident, empowered women if we proactively choose to do that. And so part of what we do in STEMAZING is empowering women to be more confident, visible role models, and then go on and inspire the next generation through really fun, hands-on STEMAZING kids activities. And my own journey, my own experience of how I've developed myself, yes, as a professional engineer, but as a human being with my own, skills around public speaking and engagement and being able to motivate and inspire others. I have developed those skills over the years. And the fact that I know I used to be such a shy, sensitive, and taking everything very personally kind of person, not wanting to be in the limelight, certainly not wanting any attention on me to be seen and be heard. I was just happy to just kind of fade into the background, sit on the sidelines, as the term wallflower describes. And I can see very clearly the journey that I've been on to become the person that I wanted to be, which is who I am today. And I really think that that empowering message that we all have the capability and the capacity to develop our character, our personality, our personal skills, as well as our professional skills throughout our life, that is an important, empowering message that we do our best to weave into everything we do in STEMAZING, as well as it be about let's get out there and inspire the kids. So I'm going to tell you more about how we do that, but I wanted to set the scene first of all about why I feel so passionate about this, my own journey and how I've achieved that along the way, and therefore how I know I'm the right person to help many other women do the same. And that's the aim. It's to amplify this and have many other women leveling up as visible role models who are really courageous and confident in themselves. And therefore we amplify and magnify that opportunity for inspiration for the next generation collectively as a community. So why is this stuff so important? Well, I'm probably preaching to the converted here. I'm sure you all know that you can't be what you can't see. So we have a big problem in this country, but also in many other countries around the world as well, with a STEM skills shortage. In the UK, it's costing us £1.5 billion every year. And this is because we are not attracting and retaining enough people in STEM industries. And then if you look at the challenges around diversity, it goes even worse. So from gender diversity perspective, only having 24% women in STEM overall, and narrowing that down to the E in STEM, the engineering, only 16%, is just still not good enough, is it? I mean, we celebrate progress, and days like tomorrow for, is it tomorrow or Friday? Sorry, International Women in Engineering Day on Friday. That is a fantastic day to celebrate women in engineering, but we still don't have enough of us. So we've got a long way to go. And I know these kind of stats and that picture is reflected in a lot of other countries as well. Okay, so this is kind of the driver. We need to create that diversity that we can see in order to then generate more diversity. So it's a bit of chicken and egg, I really feel, that where you don't have enough women as visible role models, so you don't have those diverse role models inspiring young people, and then you don't have enough women and young people coming through as the new diverse role models, so therefore the cycle perpetuates. So we need to be disruptive and challenge that and break that cycle. and get in there, level up as visible role models now, so that we really, really start to make some step changes in diversity in STEM, and particularly engineering. I think we need visible role models in our classrooms. You know, we can't just rely on teachers and parents to give the messages to children about what their opportunities are in STEM. But we also need those visible role models in our meeting rooms and in our boardrooms, in our industries and in our organizations now. So this is vital. Visible role models are needed everywhere. It's so vital for inspiring the future diversity of our STEM workforce, but it's also vital for realizing the benefits of diversity for the few areas of diversity that we do have currently now. If we're not having empowered women speaking up, being more vocal and visible in our meeting rooms and in our boardrooms, we're not benefiting from having those women in our organizations now. So we know there's lots of stats around the business benefits culture that lets that diversity thrive and allows those people and encourages and nurtures those people to bring their diverse perspectives, then it's all for nothing. You're not benefiting from that diversity in the team and in your leadership. So empowered visible women in the workplace is just as important as empowered visible women getting out into schools and inspiring the next generation. And that's why we do what we do in STEMAZING. Now, I don't like to put all the pressure on us in the minority to solve all the problems. Obviously, there are many systemic barriers that we're facing. There are many historic and societal barriers that create challenging environments for us to be able to thrive sometimes. However, we can also do a lot to help ourselves, despite those challenging conditions sometimes, to be the best that we can be for our own benefit, and therefore then the benefit of others. So I don't like to say this is like, you know, that all women need to fix themselves in order to fix the problem. No, the problem needs to be fixed as a whole, as a majority, as a collective community, the systems, the processes that organizations are underpinned by in how they operate. Yes, those need to change. But what do we have the most control over? We have the most control over ourselves, what we think and what we do. We have control over that. So we can change that. And I think it's important that we focus on what we can do to help ourselves in order to become the empowered women that we need to make the bigger structural and societal changes that need to happen. But first of all, we need to be strong to do that. So in STEMAZING, and as part of the first part of the Inspiration Academy program, we look at how we can tap into the drivers that are driving us as role models to be more visible, and then what the fears are and what might be holding us back, and looking at some of the things that are common themes that I have noticed through myself and also mentoring lots of other women, things like negative self-talk, things like sort of comparing ourselves and putting ourselves down, and things that we can do to help ourselves in those situations are some very simple tools to build our mind and body connection to be the strongest it can be in situations that stretch us. So we give ourselves the best opportunity to shine in situations where we are stretching ourselves out of our comfort zone, because that's where we see the greatest levels of growth. But we can't do that if we're telling ourselves we're not good enough, or we're not as good as that person over there, or we should, you know, we can't take on any more, we can't do those things. We're going to be not able to stretch ourselves to our full capacity if we're having that sort of negative self-talk and self-limiting beliefs. So some of the things we do in STEMAZING are looking at what we can do to help ourselves, empower ourselves, before we get onto the inspiration piece. And this all comes together with our two themes around STEMAZing women and STEMAZing kids, culminating in our STEMAZing mission, which is to empower women in STEM to shine as visible role models and inspire our next generation of innovators and problem solvers. So we want to be creating those conditions that inspire and motivate and nurture and raise the awareness of opportunities in STEM, how STEM is accessible, how STEM is fun, how you can enjoy it, and how it is ultimately all about innovation and problem solving, and linking it to real world problem solving, linking it to how we actually use our magic toolbox of STEM skills in the real world to make a difference. That's the real connection we want to make, connecting learning to life. And also use our STEMAZing 3 C's, which are our values: be curious, be creative, and be courageous, where we are reminding and inspiring the children to ask questions, think about the world around them. That's about being curious. That's how we break down barriers. That's how we step outside the box and think about something new. We are curious. But that's also relevant to us as adults as well. We can take a curious approach to our own development and understanding others. So it's not about judgment, it's about curiosity. There's a very, very different slant on the world when you're exploring and understanding yourself and others around you without judgment, just with pure curiosity. And then being creative, we love to have that creative element in our STEMAZing kids activities and experiments, which is about the design part of it and sort of creative and art, but also about creative problem solving. And again, this applies to us as adults. How can we be creative in the way that we approach challenges? Okay, how can we be creative about the way that we think about how we want to develop our own skills? And then the last one, be courageous, I think is equally as important. It's not something we normally talk about to do with STEM, but actually trying new things, experimenting, failing, learning, having a growth mindset approach to problem solving requires one to be courageous. So we have to be courageous in our own approach to life. And also we can encourage the young people to be courageous when they're trying something that they've never done before, or when something's going wrong, or when they need to ask for help, or when they don't understand something. You know, courage is such an important skill that we can practice and learn and develop, as I said right at the beginning. So that's kind of our mission. That's what we're aiming to do with our two key themes in STEMAZing, and how we link it into our values that underpin our mission. And what you're all hopefully considering doing is applying for our Inspiration Academy, which is our flagship program that I developed, as I said, back at the back end of 2020 and started it in 2021, which is a sort of way, that a vehicle that I was hoping to be able to empower and inspire more women to use the STEMAZing kids activities and resources that I developed and tested myself, to reach more children. Ultimately, that was the goal. And then what we found along the way of doing it is that the women are really benefiting themselves from doing this program. And we've got a couple of previous STEMAZing women on the call who will be able to tell you about their experience in a little while. And so the Inspiration Academy program, I created it as an online program because, you know, we'd just been in COVID. We were probably still just about in COVID and couldn't really get out and about too easily. And the online method of, first of all, supporting women meant that I could open it up to different areas around the country. That was my initial thought. And then it grew beyond the UK, and we've had women joining and taking part from many different countries around the world now. And also with the STEMAZing Kids delivery, it meant that we could reach schools in hard to reach areas. And we can prioritize schools based on percentage of families on free school meals, which is an indicator of how underrepresented that area is. Is it in an area that is really in need of support with social mobility and supporting those young people with their aspirations and their understanding of what potential opportunities are out there for them. So we want to target those schools. And the way of being able to reach many schools like that, when you've got women who are based all over the place and schools who are based all over the place, is to capitalize on the digital technology we have available to us and zoom into the classrooms with these visible role models, do hands-on activities with the kids, but obviously they're in the room in the classroom and you're on the screen, but it works. And I tested that actually when we were fully in COVID, when we were in complete lockdown, and it worked. And it opened my eyes to how we could really magnify the impact we're having with STEM outreach by doing these hands-on practical activities, but led by somebody who's zooming into the classroom. So that's where the model of the STEMAZIng Inspiration Academy sort of came from and how it was formed. And I made it into a 4-month program so that we could have half of it developing the women and half of it delivering sessions into schools once the women were supported and had helped grow their toolbox of both empowerment and inspiration. So I've got a little video to show you here to give you a bit more context around that. I'm just going to make sure I'm sharing my sound. There we go. All right, so hopefully you can hear this little video. There we go. So in the video, you could see that there's a range of different practical STEM activities that we run with children. They're all simple, but very effective. And they all use really basic resources so that A, it's cheap, you know, to be honest, that we can roll this out to a large number of children in a large number of schools without it breaking the bank. So we provide resources to schools who can't afford to get them, or there's barriers to them participating because of the resources element. So we provide the resources they need. And it allows us to, based on these really simple activities, to cover a range of different STEM concepts and principles linked to real life, whilst giving them that practical element of doing something hands-on, making something they can then take home with them, show their families, talk about that. But also it's cheap and it's easy to get the resources. So that's why the activities are designed the way they are. But we support you when you're delivering them with things like the list of resources you need, a video tutorial of me running through it, the key STEM messages to try and reinforce throughout the session. And also every child gets a completion certificate that we send to the school, and then that we send electronically to the school prints it out, and that summarizes what they've done. And again, the aim of that is that they continue the conversation at home, because one of the big barriers to children's aspirations is if their parents don't have any awareness, or they can't talk about the world of STEM and how important it is and how it connects to all of our lives, then the children have less opportunity to make that a reality for them. So that's a lot of research showing how key influencers are teachers and parents, and unless they've got any connection to STEM, then those children are not going to find out. So this is why the role that we have as STEM ambassadors, going and inspiring and giving the children a fun, exciting experience, whilst also introducing them to STEM and introducing the teacher to STEM, and hopefully through the children, introducing the parents and the families to STEM. And the reason why we're targeting such young children at primary school is because we need to tackle those STEM stereotypes around gender, particularly who can or should do STEM, young, so that we sow the seeds of change at a young age. And then when they get into older ages and they're making decisions about careers, they've got that less unconscious bias around, girls can't do maths or science, the boys are better at engineering, that kind of thing. So we want to sow those seeds of change early, and that's why we target primary school children. But I'm fully supportive of all the STEM outreach that happens at secondary school level and higher education as well, because that also needs to happen. But from my own experience, I think we need to target children with STEM engagement and engineering engagement a lot younger. That's why we target the age that we do with STEMAZING. Okay, I'm going to give you a few more details about the Inspiration Academy, and then I'm going to come to our previous STEMAZING women to give you their experience of how they found it. So as I said, overall, it's a 4-month program. The next one will be starting in September and run through until the end of December or around Christmas. We will be opening registration on the 3rd of July, and then we do our down selection, because normally we're pretty oversubscribed with the number of people applying. Now, if you are applying from a partner of STEMAZING, a partner organization, then we guarantee a certain number of places for those women on the program. But if you're applying for one of our free and open places, which is great, we make sure we keep some of those free and open for any women in STEM to apply, then we will do a down selection process, and you'll find out in August if you were successful with a place. So as I've said already, the program is split up into a sort of empowerment and training piece for you, and then the live delivery part. So we have months 1 and 2 are about training and leveling up public engagement and looking at what those sort of fears around things that may be holding you back are, what your drivers are. And we specifically do confidence on camera, a couple of modules on that, because we are delivering our sessions via Zoom and online. So confidence on camera, being confident how to get your message across, and being inspiring, and being happy with seeing yourself on camera as well, which some people can cringe at. Those are important skills that we utilize in STEMAZING, but also really important skills for this day and age in our workplace, where we do a lot of work either remote or hybrid. So having confidence on camera is a valuable skill. So we still, even since we're fully out of COVID, we still have that element in the program. And we will match you up with a primary school, as I said, but if you want to find your own school to deliver to, you can also do that. And if you want to deliver the sessions in person in a school, you can also do that. But the expectation is that we will match you up with a school and the sessions will be delivered online. But we're now happy to be flexible about whether you find the school and whether the sessions are in person or online. So there's definitely flexibility there. The training resources themselves are a mix of different formats. There's an online tutorial element, so sort of mini masterclasses that are bite-sized, so they're about 15 minutes, and you watch that video tutorial. You have a couple of exercises to do that hopefully challenge your thinking, and then you kind of step through the various steps of the training. So that is on demand, essentially. So you can do that at a time that suits you. But we do try and say, like, give you roughly, this is when you should get through the sort of the general steps. So to try and keep you on track roughly, but it's very flexible. There is an element of group work. So we match you up with a few other women and put you in an accountability group, which is very valuable. And that is self-managing. So between your accountability group, you decide when you're going to meet, what format you use, how often, and we leave that to you to manage. You're all adults, so that is down to you to manage. But we do have the expectation that you will engage with your accountability group regularly. And then we also have one live webinar a month, which I run, and that's normally about an hour, normally in the workday around lunchtime. It will be recorded, but we really like you to attend live if possible to those. So you'll get those dates for those webinars if you're successful on the program. So overall, we say it's a commitment of about 2 hours a week. Now, I'd love to hear from our previous STEMAZING women if that's realistic. It feels like that's about right based on the training you've got to do, the exercises you've got to do. And even when you get into the school delivery part of it, the sessions are only 45 minutes long in the classroom. However, you'll want to do some prep. You need to contact the teacher to get the session in the diary. So we still say that that 2 hours a week is a good expectation to have for the commitment you'll need on this program. And we do want women that are committed to put the time in. So if you really feel like there's no way you'll be able to find 2 hours a week, then this program is not for you, because you get out what you put in to life. And we want women who are going to make the most of this opportunity. So you will have to commit 2 hours a week to the program. As I said, you can apply on July the 3rd, we'll open it. So we'll put a notification out about that. But it might be good to put that reminder in your diary as well. And we'll send you the links of where to apply. But if you want to get more information and go to the webpage where you will be, the registration will be, then you can have a look at that web link and it will take you to our Inspiration Academy page so you can have a look in a bit more detail. Right, I've talked for ages now. So if we've got any questions at all, please put those in the chat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Jess McCafferty, if you don't mind unmuting yourself. And what I'll do is I will stop sharing this. Got a final slide there with a QR code. If anybody wants to take a quick snap of that, that will take you to the Inspiration Academy page. What I'm going to do is stop sharing so that we can see Jess's lovely face on the big screen. Okay, Jess, so do you want to introduce yourself to all these amazing women on the call and tell them a bit about your STEMAZING experience, please?
Yes, so Jess, as you've alluded to, I currently work in the interface between engineering and technology in the energy industry, basically. I did an environmental science background or degree, and kind of accidentally found my way into energy from waste and power. I was very fortunate in the area that I grew up in that we had state grammar schools. So I went to an all-girls school and completely empowered, didn't ever think about the fact that I could not do anything, that men were kind of the dominant in any industry. I just assumed that it was equal for everyone. And then made the most of the volunteering opportunities that were there, and loved it, had a great time. Then I went to uni and kind of the reality of the world slowly started to dawn upon me. And then I joined work where I think the first job I had, there was 100 men and 4 women when I first started. So 4%, not very good. And then I lost a lot of the confidence that I had in myself. I stopped putting myself out there for opportunities and volunteering. And then I heard about the STEMAZING Inspiration Academy and applied for it. Didn't get through the first round because it was oversubscribed, but I got into the second round, and it has changed my life, and that I don't say that lightly. It just helped me find that confidence that I did once have, and kind of it been hidden away inside me. And yeah, loved the experience. The group work was so rewarding. Because I was speaking with other women in not engineering necessarily, but other women within STEM and we were sharing problems, and it kind of helped me realise that I wasn't alone in some of the self-limiting beliefs I had about myself and the thoughts I was having. Delivering to the schools was at first terrifying, but then very addictive, and I still do, I don't know, try to do an hour a week still. When I changed jobs, I actually got it written into my contract that I had time aside to do STEM ambassador work. So
Wow.
yeah, it really lit a passion for me about the volunteering and going into schools and showing girls that actually, before the reality of the world creeps in, that they can do whatever they want to do, and to the boys as well. Like, even if you don't know any scientists or engineers, if you have some creativity, if you're curious and courageous, then actually STEM is something that you can get into. You don't have to be good at maths, you don't have to be good at science. If you've got kind of the right characteristics, then there's something out there for everyone.
Love it. Absolutely. Thanks so much, Jess. And it's amazing to hear your experience. And I just want to say thank you, because you are such an incredible champion and advocate of STEMazing. And the amount of effort that you put into STEM outreach, whether that's through STEMazing or other things, or volunteering more generally, is just incredible. And women like you are what make the world a beautiful place to live in. So I'm so grateful to know you, and thank you so much for everything that you do for others, and to develop yourself. And hearing your empowering story of how you've developed your skills over a short space of time is incredible. That's an inspiration in itself. So thank you so much for everything you're doing. And it's great to hear that your experience of delivering the STEM sessions as well started off being terrifying. And that's what I hear a lot, is that they're like, oh, I'm so nervous, I almost feel sick before doing it and going live. But then with practice, just like anything, you probably don't completely lose the nerves or lose that feeling of like, actually, is it excitement? It's kind of that adrenaline. You don't lose that completely, but you get more comfortable, and you recognize the reward of doing it for yourself and for others. Therefore, like you say, it's addictive. You want to keep doing it. And that is what we need. We need an army of empowered women going out there and doing exactly that, so that every young person in the world gets the opportunity to engage with an inspiring, visible and diverse role model to open their eyes to what's possible. I mean, that is where we need to be in the world. So thanks so much, Jess. That's brilliant. If anyone's got any questions for Jess for her own sort of experience of what it was like, please put those in the chat. I can see Faye has put in, is the programme suitable for both secondary and primary schools? So we target primary schools. So we are targeting around the age of 7 to 9 year olds with our activities. However, it is possible to run these activities with older children. I mean, I don't know if, Jess, you've got anything you could add to that about the age group of kids that you have, or young people that you've engaged with?
Yeah, so once I finished the Inspiration Academy, I've done a few of the sessions with the younger secondary schools, so year 7, year 8s really. They can, because it is targeted towards primary school, they're a bit too simple for like a sixth form student, but sometimes it's just about working with the teacher and saying, these are what I could offer, how can we build upon it, add extra steps to it, or make it more challenging to suit the older year group. So
yeah,
or the teacher says, I have this idea, can you adapt it and deliver a session that's not from your what you can do? So another personal growth bit we're doing that, but exciting as well.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jess. Yeah, that's great advice. Anne Hodgetts, I can see you're on the call. Do you mind doing an intro to yourself and telling us about your experience as well? That'd be great.
Yeah, no, of course. Hi, Jess, by the way, because I think we were on the same cohort. I know we're both in this Amazing Women community as well. Yes, so I'm a mechanical engineer and spent a long time doing various things, but ended up as a safety engineer for 20 odd years in a consultancy. And for various reasons, I ended up leaving that company and becoming a contractor, so freelancing, which I've been doing for 5 years or so now, which has been brilliant. And one of the things throughout my whole career, which I loved being part of that organisation, it was great, always had that niggle of STEM outreach and never quite knew where to start. Getting into schools and working with children. I had 2 kids and I thought I really should do this, but I wasn't confident to go into a school. So saw the Inspiration Academy and applied for that, and it was just brilliant. Like Alex said, the first part of it being about growing your own confidence, and actually there's a big bit in there which I loved, which Alex talks about, being the CEO of your own life, working out what makes you tick, working out what your values are, what's important to you. And I found that was really important for where I was in my life. I needed some direction. So that first part of the course was really great, and absolutely resonate with you only get out what you put in, that you have exercises that you have to sort of go through and do a bit of soul searching. And it's really valuable if you've never spent the time to do that, just to think about what it is that you want, especially if you're a mother and you lose yourself slightly doing all the motherhood things. It's just really, really worthwhile. So that was great. And then the part of learning the sessions online and doing that with the school. So one of the things that I wanted to do was re-engage with the primary schools in the village. Well, doing the online sessions and learning the sessions and all that, practicing, was a great sort of foundation for doing it with people you didn't know and you wouldn't bump into in the street or anything like that. So doing it online works really well. And that confidence on camera was great. But really what I wanted to do was get into my local schools face to face. And so the Inspiration Academy sort of gave me the springboard to just do that. So now, same as Jess, every week I block out time in my diary when I go into the local schools. And it's great because walking around the village, the kids see you and they're so excited that they see you and they wave and they tell their parents that that's who that is, and you're like a mini celebrity in your little village. So that's great. And I just want to show you this that came through the post. So if you can see this.
Oh,
but
wow.
I know. So I got this lovely card from the last session I did, and all the kids have written something in there and literally I got that when that came. It brought a tear to my eye, because it's just so special. The relationship you get with the teachers and your schools is great. And I also help fill in with Alex when she hasn't got enough people to deliver an online session or something for Science Week. So yeah, it is addictive, and it just gives you that boost. For me, it gave me a boost I needed to inspire myself in my career and what I do, and then inspiring others. It's a two-way street. You definitely get out what you put in, definitely.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that, Anne. That's lovely. And I know that since then, so you've gone on to do so much more other STEM outreach stuff as well. So do you want to mention about how, like you say, you use this as a springboard, but now you still do STEMAZING Kids, but you do loads of other stuff? Yeah,
so I signed up with the I don't know if you still ask everyone to sign up with the STEM Ambassadors, which is a national organisation. So I signed up with that, and that's a great opportunity to do other STEM outreach that stretch yourself. So through that, I've done gone into a secondary school and been on a Dragon's Den panel when I think it was the year 7s and 8s had come up with some ideas for doing eco solutions around the school, and we were on the panel asking them questions. So that was great. I do mentoring now for a postgraduate student that I meet up with once a month, and she's just fabulous. I love working with her because as women, we've been through the same things and we've got the same doubts. It's so lovely to see how you can help somebody else. So yeah, all sorts of things now, which is it's just great.
Fantastic. And there was a question in the chat about primary versus secondary school, and like we need to be getting into secondary school to challenge those gender perceptions as well, especially in the years when they're thinking about their GCSE choices and beyond. And I completely agree with that. We are focused in terms of the Inspiration Academy and STEMAZING more generally on primary, because of, we can only do so much at this point, and we need to have a focus in order to be really effective. So we're encouraging that primary school intervention, but then there's nothing stopping you after that, or in parallel with that, going on and doing STEM outreach at secondary school, either with other resources from STEM learning, or like Jess said, she adapted some of the STEMazing Kids experiments to do with older children. So absolutely, we fully encourage that, but we're starting with the primary level because that's so important in terms of that diversity piece for STEM. And then we would love it, and as we grow in STEMazing, we will probably develop other programs targeted at different age groups. But we're only 3 people in the background here, so we need to make sure we're focused on what we know we're doing well and makes a difference right now. But yes, I think that you're completely right. I think it was Faye who put that comment in. That's still super important.
Yeah, the secondary stuff is the bit that I'm pushing myself onto next, because for me, it was at secondary school that I got the direction. That was from a teacher that pushed me onto a women in engineering course. But I don't know if I'd have done it without that. So I really resonate with the secondary intervention. I think that's really important when you're making your choices. So that's the next step that I want to go. So, but yeah, I agree.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Anne. And similar sentiment to you in that you are just an incredible person. I'm so blessed to know you. And I know we've known each other for years before I even set up STEMazing. And you've been a role model to me and helped me through hard times in my life. And I just, super grateful to you as well. And just both you and Jess, it's amazing to have women like you in our community and to see the impact you're having on other women as well as kids, and the support you give to me. And this is what we're trying to build in STEMazing, is a community of women at all stages of life and career who can champion themselves and champion each other. And through that collective impact, making a real difference to STEM inspiration and getting more people to consider STEM. So it's lovely that I feel like we're just so blessed with the women we have in the community. And I want to bring more women into that so that women can benefit from that vibe and that energy as well. Fantastic. Yes, and you've put that in exactly, because you're a freelancer, like having community is so important. And I think people who work majority remotely, having community, and if you're the only woman in your team or the only woman on your course, having somewhere where you can go where you're not in the minority for a change makes a big difference and is very empowering. Thank you so much. All right, any other questions coming through at all? Any other questions that you've got? It's lovely to see you putting supportive comments in the chat as well. Thank you so much. If you do have any other questions that crop up either throughout the application process or before we launch the applications, feel free to drop us an email at info@stemazing.co.uk and we will pick that up. I can see some other questions coming through about the criteria for selection. Great question. So we have a registration form and it has a number of questions, really getting you to think about, why do you want to do this? What are the benefits that you would like to get out of it? And where do you feel you are currently with your confidence with public engagement, your experience with public engagement, so that we can look at that and think, well, how are we going to get the women on the programme that would benefit the most from it, that would benefit the most from the opportunity for empowerment and that springboard into inspiration? So if you're already a super confident person, super experienced at STEM outreach, then this program is probably not for you, because you can go and do it all anyway. You're welcome to join our STEMazing Women membership, which is an online membership that supports you with even more empowerment and inspiration. But just like Anne said, the Inspiration Academy is that springboard to help you into that sort of approach and ethos and attitude with life that's all about empowering yourself and inspiring others. So that's how we do the down selection. So we essentially look at we score based on your answers, and also we ask questions like, how will you bring a diverse and inclusive perspective to the program? So we want to encourage as much diversity within our community as possible, and for women to really understand what it means to be inclusive to each other. So we ask you a couple of questions around that, and then we also have to be careful of the number that we accept in each round so that we can make sure we still have that quality of support to you all. So we can reach a lot of women because it's online and the videos are already there and on demand for you, but we do still do a lot of support in the background and providing those touch points for you when you need the help, when, say, for example, you can't get hold of the school, or you've got questions, or you've got trouble accessing the materials or whatever. So we can't accept too many women, so we do have to keep it at a limit, and so hence we can't accept everyone, unfortunately. But as I said, keep applying, because Jess didn't get on the first time, she got on the second time. We do look at women who have applied previously and weren't successful, so they also get some extra points because that shows how driven they are. So, you know, keep trying, and we will get you as part of this community at some point, even if it's not in the next round. But so highly recommend you apply if you want to be on it, and we will do our best to take as many of you as we possibly can. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for those questions. Brilliant. All right. Well, if there's no more questions, I just want to say thanks so much for your time and attention today. It's been brilliant seeing you. I really appreciate you giving up your lunchtime to come and listen to this, and hopefully it's inspired you to get involved. If you feel like you want a further conversation, then one of our team can speak to you. I can see that Jess has put her LinkedIn details in the chat as well, which is lovely. So yeah, connecting with Anne Hodgetts, connecting with Jess McCafferty. Follow us on STEMAZIng on LinkedIn. We've got a STEMAZIng Facebook and Instagram. We're not brilliant at them, to be honest. We're not that great at that. It's hard to do all the things, isn't it? But we're pretty active on LinkedIn, Twitter. So yeah, follow us on there. And it'd be great to see as many of you as possible. So yeah, thanks so much, everybody. Thanks for joining.
I just wanted to say thank you so much as well, actually. I hope you don't mind. I wanted to join. Really inspired by you at our event last year, and getting into school super early is so important. But Jess, what you said really resonated. So many, we work with students in secondary and university, and so many of them have felt like a minority in the classroom and just don't have the self-belief to go and do a job where they're going to be one of 5% in that company, and they often fall down at that last barrier. So I'm really loved your journey, and you, Anne, as well. So I will connect with you on LinkedIn, but I just want to say thank you. Absolutely love it.
Thank you, Amanda.
Brilliant. Thanks, Amanda. Appreciate that as well. Fantastic. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. And enjoy International Women in Engineering Day on Friday and all the celebrations around that. Remember to disruptively challenge as well. It's not just a time for eating cake. This is a time for pushing what is possible all together as a community. This is how we make a difference. So let's keep driving for diversity and inclusion in STEM. We can't sit back and relax just yet, but we will get there. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Bye.